welcome back to another Take and Make craft with the teen department here at Merle. Today we are going to be making hanging plant holders out of macrame. To do this you're going to need some rope. In this case we have pre-cut the rope for you. They're roughly 5 feet, 4 pieces of 5-foot long rope. You're going to need some sort of ring, and you're going to need something to put a plant in, like a small glass thing or maybe a small clay pot, whatever you like to use. Our kits have these already in them, so if you've grabbed a kit, you already have these materials. We did not put a plant in because we really didn't want to just put a bunch of live plants out and get them knocked around. Or maybe you're a brown thumb and you want to put a fake plant in here, or maybe you want to put an LED candle in here. You could put just about whatever you want in these containers and hang them up, and they'll look great in your space. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to get your rope together and line up your ends, and then we're going to find the middle of this by folding it in half. So we've got our halfway point here, and we are going to run that halfway point through our wooden ring, like so. So we've now got a loop that's come through the ring, and we are going to pull the ends of the rope here through the loop we just made. So it's basically a slip knot on your wooden ring, and you can pull that nice and tight if you want. And there's that part. So the next thing you're going to do is divide your rope up into 4 sets of 2. And you'll notice they kind of will want to fall together, so it'll be pretty easy to separate them. If it looks like you're crossing over a whole bunch, then maybe rearrange it till it looks like you've got 4 parts that are more or less together, like so. Okay, we've got our 4 pairs. Now we're going to start tying some knots. So I'm going to start over here on the left side, but it doesn't really matter which side you start on. You can start right in the middle if you want. And we're going to go, say, about, this is probably about 8 inches or so. I'm eyeballing this, and you can too. This doesn't have to be super exact, it just needs to be kind of approximate. So we're just going to tie knots, and this is of course one of the simplest knots you can tie. It's just the end over end, like you're getting ready to tie a pair of shoes. And for the next one, if you went over to tie it the first time, you'll want to go under the second time to tie it. Same way. So it's basically a square knot instead of a double knot. Like so. Alright, that's a pretty good distance there. And then we're going to do the same thing with these other sets. So I'm going to go, see how I'm tying this loop over here and around. And I want to make sure that these are in roughly the same position. So I'm going to eyeball that. Yeah, that looks good. Now I'm going to take this part and go under and over. Like so. Okay, got 2 knots. Those up, see if they're about even. One goes under. Alright, we're up to 3, and then the last set here. Kind of eyeballing it to make sure it's about in the same spot. Okay. So those are roughly even. They're not maybe exact, but that's okay. Now we're going to spread those back out again. So each one of these has, of course, kind of a left and a right side. So what we're going to be doing is connecting the right side of one to the left side of the other. So it'll be much like this. And we're going to go maybe just a few inches down this time. We're not going to go nearly as far with our knot. So I'm going to knot it right about here. So I like that distance pretty well. Through. Now the right one from this and the left one from this adjacent one. And again, we're going to try and keep these roughly the same distance so you can hold them next to each other to compare. Of course, these are also pretty easy knots to undo if you feel like you need to readjust. That is absolutely acceptable. Space that one out. Really, if you've got a favorite kind of knot, you can do that. You don't have to do this specific type of knot. This one just happens to be a very easy and common one. All right, so once you've done these 3 inner sets, now we're going to take our 2 end pieces and we're going to join this in a circle. So we're going to knot these as well. And I'm going to make sure it's about the same length and height as the other ones around it. We're going to knot that. Okay, so now these are all in a center, or all in a circle, and we're going to do one more set of knots here. So again, we're going to be joining the knots from the ropes from adjacent knots together. We're basically making a net that's going to hold our vessel for plants here, whatever that vessel may be. So I'm going to start on this side. Again, you can start on any side you want. And we're going to make these even a little bit shorter than the last batch. So maybe only an inch or 2. Going around the circle, tying my knots. And last one. Okay. Now we've tied all the knots we need for this part. Can lift it up, and now we want to tie this bit up here at the end so that it doesn't come undone and let your plant slide out through the bottom and smash all over the floor, because nobody wants that. So just do a big overhand knot here, pull all your 8 strands of rope through and tighten it up. Like so. And if you want, you can trim them up and give yourself a nice little fringe, or you can just leave it and give it kind of a more rustic look. All right, so we've got our net. Now we just need to put something in it. So I'm going to slip my container in here. We're gonna stretch out our knots, spread out the knots a little, and adjust as needed to get our corners nice and secure in there. And we are done. Now you can put in whatever kind of plant or fake plant or LED candle you want and hang it wherever you like. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time with even more Take and Make crafts. Thanks for joining us.